Hello all and welcome. Yes, you had my car fan blowing in there. It is hot out here today in Chicago. I don't know if you guys know this, but it gets pretty hot here in the summer. You know, that whole lake effect thing, 91 degrees plus all that humidity, it racks up out here. It gets nice and sweaty. I know you in Arizona, you're like, it gets 107 out there. I could go out there like this, well, maybe with a long tee on, you know, just so I don't get that sunburn. But I could go out there during the middle of the day, 107 degrees. It will feel like an 82 degree day here in Chicago. So I don't even want to hear it. It is a beautiful day out there in Arizona. You all in Scottsdale representing. Put your comments in the comments section if you're from Scottsdale. How cool would that be? I don't know anybody in Scottsdale. So hopefully we can link up, me and you. We could become best friends. Who knows? If you don't live in Scottsdale but you live in Arizona, hit me up anyway. Comment section. Let's go. Follow us on Instagram. That way you can message us directly, me and you. Linking up pretty soon in Arizona, maybe. Perhaps. Let us know. But Instagram, _winnercircle_22. Like, share, and subscribe on the video. Let's dive in today's video on Wilfred. This is going to be episode 9 titled Conscious. So, really quickly to recap, this is like, wow, guys. Okay, you are not going to want to miss this episode. This is one of the funnest episodes in the series. So, in this episode, nothing too ridiculous happens. It's not one of those weird situations where, you know, you and your neighbor's dog just start having a conversation. You end up going to your neighbor's house, breaking in and pooping in their shoe. No, it's not one of those weird situations, but Ryan's mother comes into play. Now, I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if you're aware, but we have not mentioned anything of Ryan's mother at all. At all. So how can we do this? Why is she coming up right now? So late in the season 9, what are we going to be talking about? So, in this episode, we find out all about Ryan's mother. And since it happens right in the beginning of the episode, don't sweat it, don't worry about it. I will tell you what happens. But if you don't want to know, there's your little warning, your little spoiler ahead content warning. But what happens is Ryan's mother has actually been in a mental institution since Ryan was a young boy. Over 20 years, in fact. And Ryan gets a call about how Ryan's mom might, you know, be ready to go to the outside world. And Ryan's like, what? The outside world with like high-def TV and all that stuff? And the doctor's like, she's just been here. What do you think this place is? She hasn't been in a coma or anything. And I'm sorry, guys, my wallet is just bothering me. Like I tell my lady, if you're going to be sitting on a wallet for more than 20 minutes, don't sit on the wallet. I mean, maybe that's just me because of how skinny I am, but can't do it, can't fathom it. Either way, in this episode, like I was saying, Ryan goes to get his mom out, and he's reluctant. He's like, you know, maybe this, maybe that, you know, I don't know. But he ends up agreeing. She comes to live with him, and it just gets kind of crazy. We see how wild and out there Ryan's mom is, even going as far as to mimic an Indian chief when Ryan first comes to visit her. So it's pretty interesting. But that's not the tail end of it, to use a pun. But in this episode, when she comes to his house, it gets pretty weird. Now, her being someone with a mental handicap, we'll say, she doesn't really know the normalized bounds of society. Obviously, she's a little unaware of when she's been too much, what's too much for other people, when other people might not want to know or give information. So the best way to sum that up is just by this conversation that goes down between Ryan, Jenna, which is the neighbor that he lives by, that he's in love with, and Ryan. So in this conversation, Ryan is talking about, or Ryan's mom, I should say, starts talking about how Ryan used to do an adult thing to himself to a certain TV show when he was younger, and you know, she thinks it's a nice big joke. Jenna laughs at it, but Ryan is just like, can you not? Like, do you not know that people don't talk about that? And his mom goes, what? You know, like, everybody masturbates, right, Jenna? And Jenna's just like, have a boyfriend. And it's like, yeah, that's a awkward conversation to be having. And, you know, nobody wants to be talking about their very personal lives, especially with somebody that they just met. But Ryan's mom, being who she is, just doesn't understand that. Completely acceptable when you know the context of Ryan's mother, but still in the moment off-putting and could make somebody feel uncomfortable, which it obviously did. Ryan ends up getting too much. This ends up becoming too much for Ryan, and it ends up leading to Ryan going back to the hospital. Now, something major goes down at the hospital. I'm not going to say what, because it is very groundbreaking. Like, what happens, it actually scares you as the viewer. You were like, did he just, like, the cat's out of the bag? Really? Like, just like that easy, this early? How could this be? And it's just one of those moments that, you know, every time I look back on watching it, I know it's coming, and I know exactly what's going to be said, but I'm still sitting there like, oh my God, he's going to do it, isn't he? He's going to really do it. And he does really do it. He messes up. I'll tell you who, Ryan messes up. What does it involve? His life. Wilfred. What else? But Wilfred is the orchestrator behind the whole thing. I've been talking about how Wilfred just seems like he's helping Ryan, but at the same time, he's really not. And this is one of those moments where it's really hard to see how Wilfred's actions can be helpful to Ryan in any way. Now, could you perhaps argue that, you know, for Ryan's mental health, this might be a good thing? Sure, absolutely, you can make that argument. But at the end of the day, we don't even see progression in his mental health to say that that worked or that helped in any way. So, in my opinion, you can't argue that it helped in that way. So, at the end of the day, you got to say, no, it didn't help. And if anything, it's just a really uncomfortable, awkward situation. And it really just lights a fire under your butt as the viewer. You are just completely thrown away. The only underwhelming thing is that it doesn't last at all. I'm pretty sure that this is resolved in one episode, which is understandable, but at the same time, you know, the stakes that were leveled in this situation, you thought as the viewer, you were like, why isn't there going to be a bigger consequence? Why does this seem like a slap on the wrist versus, you know, I don't know, the death penalty? Now, are they really that big of a difference, extremes? No, not really. But you get the image I'm trying to share to you. I'm trying to say that what ends up happening is kind of lackluster, and what you expected to happen was like all the way up here, raised to a 10. I don't know, can you see my hand yet? There we go. Get that perspective in there, Tyler. If it's up here, they can't see you. Come on, man. But anyway, it does get super electric. It gets super involved. And at the end of the day, you really just start to question who Wilfred is. Because Wilfred is upset at Jenna because she went away to work and is doing her own things. And now he's throwing himself at Ryan's mom, not wanting that relationship to go away because of how much, you know, Ryan's mom is into Wilfred. And Wilfred's like, I'm a dog, I need attention, so someone's got to pay attention to me. But at the same time, Ryan is saying, you know, you keep saying this and this about Jenna, but, you know, she's done so much for you and you know she's coming back. But then Wilfred's like, hey, you know, everything that you're saying about Jenna, you could be saying about your own mother. She's back in your life. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to let the 20 years of time and distance, you know, get in the way between you and the relationship between your mother? Or are you going to actually do something about it? And honestly, you know, being the oldest son in my family, I kind of take it upon myself to try to grow in ways that I know my brothers can't necessarily. You know, like, I'm not saying that they can't, but maybe they just don't have enough perspective yet. Like, obviously they're able to grow as individuals and all that, but I feel like I need to put myself in the situation where I'm responsible for more than one person per se, you know? Like, I take my mom's feelings into account, kind of try to wrap things up in a bow for the whole family, if you will, as opposed to, like, just myself. And in the same way, that's kind of what they're getting at in this story. They're trying to say, you know, yeah, your own relationship is important. Like, you valuing yourself, having the respect for yourself is important. You understanding the boundaries that you're willing to accept and the ones that you're not, super important, matter a whole bunch. But at the same time, you can't let your personal life interfere with the way that you interact with your family. Your family is all that you have in this world, and you need to be able to have their back. Wilfred, in his own twisted way, is able to get that message across, and it leads to that ultimatum that I talked about that just seems way too ridiculous, seems way too impactful to be happening this early on in the show, but they play it off really good, and honestly, you are not going to want to miss it. This episode is one of my favorites. Not as good as the dog episode, but still fantastic in its own right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It is getting way too hot in here. My hair is falling. The sweat is beating down on my forehead. It is getting terrible up in here. My nose looks like I've been crying. It looks terrible. Guys, so please like, share, and subscribe. Look at what I'm going through to bring you guys this content. Shout me out if you're in Scottsdale or Arizona in general, or shout me out in the comment section if you just want to let me know that you're watching. I truly appreciate all that you guys are doing, watching the videos, keeping up to date on us here at TMT with the WILFRED Woes. Until next time, I'm TC. Take care.